Let's talk soul purposes, soul gifts, and unlocking fullness of self. So this workshop is a unique workshop in that we've never offered a soul purpose theme in a 2-day workshop series. We've only reserved that particular theme because it's so big, it's so juicy, and it's so huge. We've only reserved that for retreats in the past. But because this is our first trip to Europe, and we wanted to offer 2 different events for women to feel into, we decided we're going to just open it up. We're going to bring this theme into the 2-day workshop format. So it's pretty special for us. But I want to give you an opportunity to feel into it, to feel into whether or not this is calling to you. So as you listen to this video, I encourage you to feel into it from that aspect of self that is that like wise woman, right? That like innate knowing. Part of soul path and soul purpose is following the threads, right? So oftentimes we don't see the whole path laid out before us. Wouldn't it be nice if we did, but we don't. And if we did, it'd probably scare the pants off of us and we wouldn't do what we're being asked to do. So a way that I oftentimes like to explain following soul path and our passions and opening up to our deeper purposes is following the threads. So it might just be one little thread of, all I know is that I need to be at this event or with this circle of people or make this phone call to this person. That's all I know. And that's it. Like, that's the thread. So that's what takes you from point A to point B. And then once you get to B, you see C and then D. And it unfolds in that way. But I don't want to get into that. I want to give you more of an opportunity to feel into what this workshop is about. So it's intense. And I will be the first person to say that not everybody will resonate with rewilding work. But those who do resonate with rewilding work are at a point in their lives where they're ready to dive deeply. They're ready to dive deeply into self. They're ready to see some of those parts of self that might not be accepted in their family structures yet, or those parts of self that might not quite be accepted in the collective yet. And that's a big part of what this work is. That's a big part of uncovering our soul's gifts. So for example, when we're looking at the feminine gifts, which we will be looking at a lot of that in this particular workshop, when we look at the feminine gifts, we also have to look at how accepted are those particular esoteric feminine gifts in our society, in our family. We also have to look at what is the rubble that sits on top of those gifts that are preventing us from stepping into it. I know so many women who have these big mama potent gifts to share with the world, right? Might be the gift of midwifery, might be the gift of plant knowledge, might be the gift of hands-on healing or oracle or seer. They've got these innate, inherent gifts and this wisdom. So we've also all come in with this ancient wisdom. It's encoded. It's in our bones, right? Like, we know what we know, but we don't know how we know it, but we just know that we know it. We've all got a certain amount of that. And we've all got different knowledge that resides within us. But what is it that's stopping us from stepping into that? What is it that's stopping us from opening up to these gifts? And something that we all have to be really open about is sometimes some of that rubble is that part of self has been locked up in our family pattern, in our families forever, right? The gift of the medicine woman, those more esoteric out there sort of gifts, or some of those feminine gifts, right? We were all deemed witches. We were all deemed witches just a few hundred years ago for opening up to feminine wisdom, feminine gifts, feminine knowing. So a part of this work is uncovering any of that rubble that's sitting, and I just call it rubble, but any of those blocks or any of that like denser energy that's kind of sitting on top of this big magic that's waiting to unfold. So one of the biggest things in this workshop is let's open up that line. Let's open up that line to the medicine woman. Let's open up that line to the soul gifts. And there's a couple of spots, different archetypal energies that we'll work with, and you can read more information below. But we'll open up those particular threads of Shakti just to see what's there. And for some women, it will be an extraordinarily awakening experience. It will just be the awakening of that particular energy, and just the insights and the awarenesses and the knowledge and the wisdom drops in. For some women, it will be a clearing out of anything that's preventing them from stepping into these gifts, from further aligning with her soul's path. So it's kind of twofold. One, it's an awakening and initiation into this big part of self that holds gifts, that holds potential, that holds feminine wisdom. And then the other aspect is the clearing out of anything that's getting in the way, any of the family patterning we may have absorbed, any of the, and it's not necessarily about past life. You don't have to believe in past life by any means, but any of the energies that we've come into this life with that are preventing us from stepping in to this big, potent self that we are. Really excited for the venue that we're at. It's at this beautiful, beautiful woman's home. We've taken over this gorgeous outdoor barn space. How good is that? Rewilding in a barn. The woman, it's going to be super decked out, very luxurious. And the woman who's hosting us, she's actually cooking for us. And she's a professional chef. I know that the food is absolutely delicious. Everything has aligned so incredibly, perfectly to bring us to Europe. And if this event is singing to you, I would love to rewild with you. They are going to be special events, special in that there's only one first time for us to be in Europe, and this is it. This is the first time that we're bringing rewilding, so it's pretty epic and pretty special. If it's singing to you, look at the information below, book a ticket. They all go really fast. We have sold every workshop and every retreat with a wait list, so if it's singing, don't wait. Book in, and I will see you shortly for a big, potent, wild weekend.